Namaste everyone. We are back with another episode in decoding emotions, and this time we are decoding love, यानी कि प्यार. There are certain days जैसे कि birthdays, anniversaries, or special days with someone special in our family and around when we have this emotion at high. And there are days when we forget this emotion. So let's understand that how this emotion plays around within our body. What is the psychology behind this emotion? And trust me, it's a very powerful and positive emotion. And we are going to have a blast in this episode. So let's welcome our expert Karishma Chhatrapati and celebrate love together.
Hi Gunjan, how are you?
I am all good. How are you?
I am excited because you're talking love, and I think love is what heals our world. So I'm looking forward to this conversation with you.
Wow, I am in fact more excited as you said that it helps in healing. I am going to tag my loved ones for sure to make them understand that this is the positive emotion. I hope all our audience who is hearing are going to tag their loved ones in our comment section.
Absolutely.
Let's start about what is love for you and what is it different for everybody?
The thing is that love is the most natural emotion to experience. It is who we are at a very core level. And from that comes the layers. So, love is not just an emotion, it is a feeling. But what we have done is that we have taken love into representing an action. We've taken love to be a message for advertising and marketing. We've taken love to be represented by the great movies by Yash Chopra and those songs that make you feel even more romantic about things. And we think love is romance. But romance is an action of love. It is not love itself. Love is literally the core of who we are.
Yeah, true. So when we talk about love is an emotion, who we are, तो ऐसा क्यों होता है कि जब हमें लव इमोशन होता है that romance is a action or outcome of that feeling or emotion. So when we talk about self love, why does that outcome does not come to us naturally? Is that we have not been taught that way, or romance only comes when we have a set mindset that no, romance has to be done with the person who is in front of you or the person whom you love? Why can't it be done? I mean, why can't it be self?
That's such a beautiful question because, as usual, when we discuss emotions, we always go back to the programming that we have gone through, the wiring that we have gone through right from our childhood. Now, again, when we talk about love, I do want to bring in the aspect of ego, because if we understand the wisdom of what the ego is here to do, then we can understand how we need to love ourselves and how self love is not selfish. So if you're okay with it, can I divert this into explaining a little bit about the ego development and then come to self love? So basically, when we talk about ourselves, the ego is actually identity. हम लोग we have learned to take ego as a negative connotation of things, because the utilization of ego is for power, but actually ego is identity. If I cannot call myself I cannot address myself, then how can I address others? And we are all spiritual beings on a human journey. So, ego is identity creation. But when we're creating that identity for ourselves, a lot of programming comes in through the people around us as a child, which can diminish our identity or can blow up and elevate our identity beyond control. So either we come into believing that there's no one better than us, or we are the worst amongst everyone. इसमें क्या होता है, हमें प्यार सिखाया नहीं जाता है. We are taught that love is a transactory emotion. कि if I behave well, my mother will love me, I will get presents and gifts and all. So we look at love as a reward, or love maybe as a punishment. Now, punishment out here, I'm not talking about someone will love you when you are doing something wrong, but it's about the fact that attention is also a way of loving somebody. Most of our ways of treating people comes from the fact that it comes from love. So if I pay attention to you, it's because I experience love. If I ignore you, it's because it's the opposite of love, because I'm so angry with you, so I want to ignore you. तो क्या होता है, love as an emotion and developing goes hand in hand with how you help a person develop their ego, which is identity here. Now, what happens with self love? Self love is all about how I see myself, it is awareness towards the self. But ego development में हमारा क्या होता है? Attention goes to how other people perceive us, how other people see us, how other people will judge us, and how we get rewarded or punished for our actions. So we are taken away from self-awareness to come to belong to our family, our parents, our family, our society, school, college, peers, friends, job, everything. And we move away from ourselves. All that self love is self awareness and being okay with your own self, that okay, I am like this, I have these certain faults, but I can work around it, rather than being imprisoned by guilt and shame. That is why then suddenly self love becomes a goal rather than being who we are. Why is it so hard to love the self? Because we're programmed to be loved by others.
Right.
Because the identity is based in relationship to others, not in relationship to the self that we are.
True. I think that's the best thing we need to learn, or we can understand about this beautiful emotion where we don't have a habit of expressing to ourselves. We have a habit of expressing to people around us. We say a lot of things. Even on birthdays, we wait for the calls of the people that wish us a happy birthday. We wait for them, and I've never seen people wishing themselves first in the morning when they wake up, or that is a beautiful thing about this emotion, I think, and and it brings smile always. So talking about it, what do you think that how uh, so for example, I start with the again with the age groups. Like for a kid, it's a beautiful emotion, and we have talked about it, that how we are reprogrammed since childhood. Then we come to adolescent. For them, the language of love is quite different. They they also try to have bonds outside. And what one message do you want to give to them, people who are going to colleges or they are about to leave the college? What message do you want to give them that about this particular emotion, and how they should handle? Because at this time when they are in college, their uh, their perspective on the love emotion is very different from what actually it is, because at 30 to 35 we come to know, yes, it is an integral part of our daily life. But for the people who are just in colleges, for them it is quite different. They have a different mindset towards this emotion. What message do you want to give them?
That's so beautiful. You know, when you look at adolescence and you go back to your own time, it's a very so it begins with all the hormonal body changes, where from a girl you're becoming a young lady, you're becoming more self-aware in comparison to others. From a boy you're growing into a young man, the hormones are playing its own role. Then you're looking at everything around you, so suddenly the romance also comes in. So as a child, it is attention from others, but as an adolescent, it comes into what others are doing. What is the expression of love? And you believe those expressions of love is love. The important thing out here is in adolescence, and I believe this very strongly, and I say this: be aware of how your body is responding to love, because that is a time when also you're becoming more aware of your other aspects, such as the hormonal ups and downs, sexuality. You're seeing people hold hands, you're curious about your body, the body of the other, even more. You want to feel like you're arriving because you're in love, but don't fall in love. And when I say don't fall in love, don't drop yourself in love and become needy for someone's love. Rise in love. That means raise your vibrations. In your adolescence, love and those relationships of love is not to be created with a forever in your mind. It should be created out of friendship, out of togetherness. Enjoy the electricity of the hand touching each other. But that is not love. Love is understanding. Love is being together. Love is not competing. Love is not comparing. Love is purely understanding and accepting. And when you can accept each other, then that is love. Don't go into a relationship because you want to be seen with the most happening person around. Go into the relationship with a person not for their physical attributes, though it becomes a very important part of adolescence. Yes, we always judge a book by its cover and then purchase it. So therefore, don't jump into wanting dating somebody who's the best looker or whatever. Jump into wanting to date somebody by getting to know them first, building up on a friendship, and don't try to put your best step forward. Just be yourself authentically because you love yourself. If you love yourself for your flaws, for your imperfections, then whoever you attract will love you for that. And if they don't, they're not worth it. So don't put on an act. Adolescents, we try to put on an act because we see something beautiful happening in other people's lives. And that takes you away from loving yourself.
I think that's the best answer I have ever heard for the people who are trying to understand this emotion. They are freshly looking out for love from the outside world, and this is the first time they're experiencing it. And that's the best message through this podcast we can give to them. So let's moving ahead to adulthood. Adulthood comes in like we get married, we that's a different emotion altogether, and then comes the physical intimacy and at the back of the mind, our society or Indian society or society in general, they have this like this is love. Physical intimacy is love, and uh, and then there is other aspect to it, which is lust. How do you want to take on this while we are discussing this emotion? What is the difference between all these things, and how to manage it emotionally?
So, it's such an important conversation to have because a lot of people equate love with the transaction of love, which I mentioned earlier also, that it feels so transactory, that it has its element of the physical attributes, it has its fulfillment attributes, then agreements and disagreements. And that's where we're polluting the very emotion of love, because love is not conditional. Love is unconditional. Because if the universe are created as, whether you say God, Bhagwan, take God in any form that created the universe, it's God's love that created this universe. Now, did that God actually create it on particular conditions, or did that God just create a beautiful universe that you do what you want to do out here, I'm still going to love you? So, can we be that accepting and say, I understand you. I understand that today you're not up to this and therefore you're going through something. But that also comes from self acceptance and self realization. If I'm in a bad mood and I'm upset about something, I expect my partner to understand that. But when he is in a bad mood, am I making the effort to understand it? What you want from others, first give it to yourself and then extend it to them. Understanding, acceptance of yourself will help you understand relationships. Yes, The physical intimacy is a very, very important part of it. The body wants to play with each other. We want to enjoy that. We want to feel each other. We want to feel that merging of the soul. You know, the difference between love making and lust is that in love making, you want to like rip apart the body too in a beautiful way, because you want to merge soul to soul and feel a oneness. In lust, it's skin deep. It's slam bam, thank you. It's convenience. It's about, let me just get that pleasure and move on. But in true love making in a relationship, it's about, I want to feel this person with me, in me, one with me. And that is what every relationship should be about when it comes to marriage. That don't read these newspapers that say normal marriages means having sex this many times a week. And so if we are not doing it, that means we are in an abnormal marriage. No, it is a bodily need. Intimacy is what the body needs. It is what the mind needs. It has a relaxing impact. It is not a goal that needs to be achieved. It is not about so many calories burned if we have sex. It is about that union where you're like exploring each other. You know, the most flawed aspect of our life is our body. You look at the body and it is so flawed. It looks so funny. But yet, there's something beautiful about it. It's so beautiful.
True.
So we explore each other through the body when it comes to love making in a marriage and intimacy. Whereas in lust, it doesn't feel that way. It's about physical pleasure, another exercise, another score on your score sheet of how many people you've been with. That is lust. And
Right.
that is where love goes out in any relationship, when we don't take intimacy as an expression of love, but just a physical goal to tick mark as done. What are emotions? Are they responses or reactions to feelings, thoughts? Are they stored within our body, or do they come from outer space? Are they responses to our feelings or our thoughts? What are emotions? Join me, Karishma Chhatrapati, an emotional wellness expert, inspirational speaker, and author, as I take you through a journey decoding emotions so that you thrive in emotional wellness and use emotional intelligence to live your best life ever.